The Zenith Guard, aka Light Lads or
Blue Laser.
This squad has really high starting damage. With no core investment, they already have both a 3 and 2 damage unit. They also have area damage, and with ally immune, the laser is great for unit defense missions. Unfortunately, they've got almost no pushback, they've got one of the worst science mechs, and of course, you gotta be careful with that laser because it'll hit buildings. So let's break them down in greater detail. You got the laser mech, your prime mech. It comes with burst beam, which is a laser weapon, penetrates enemies but not cities or mountains, does maximum damage to the tile next to it, and drops by 1 for each subsequent tile, and the starting damage is 3. It costs 1 core to power, 1 extra core to make allied units immune, which has a minor downside in that you won't unfreeze them either, and 3 cores will increase that initial damage by 1. You got the charge mech. It's a brute. Its primary weapon is ramming engines. It's a 2 damage dash attack, which also does 1 damage to itself. Costs 1 core to power, 1 core to increase both weapon and self damage by 1, and 3 cores to increase weapon damage by 1. Then, finally, you got the defense mech. This is your science mech, and it comes with both a primary and a secondary. The primary is the attraction pulse, direct fire weapon that pulls the target 1 tile closer. Doesn't even cost a core to power. It's the worst of all the pull weapons. I mean, yes, you can have a vet collide with you, which isn't a great way to get a kill, but it works. All of the other pull weapons at least have some other benefit. The secondary weapon is the shield protector. It's an indirect fire weapon. It shields 2 tiles in a row, twice per battle. That costs 1 core to power, 2 cores to increase the number of uses in a battle to 3, and 2 cores to make it plus shaped and thus cover an extra 3 more tiles. So the basic tactics here are pretty clear, and they're reinforced by the squad achievements. Ideally, you want to be lining up as many Vec as possible for your laser mech to zap. Ideally, you want to take out 2 or even 3 Vec each time you fire that laser, and you want to use the defense mech and charge mech to facilitate that by knocking or pulling the Vec into line. In a pinch, you can also use the shield to block laser fire that would otherwise strike buildings, and in Magic Christmas Land you might also in the same process shield the charge mech at the same time, allowing for a free, non-damaging attack. In reality, the Vec rarely play ball, they rarely line up, and the Zenith Squad damage output is impressive, but on hard, where the Vec alphas appear way more frequently, especially as you reach the later island, they run into real difficulty putting the alphas to sleep before getting overwhelmed. The defense mech's probably the weakest part of the lineup. Traction beam is simply too limited. It's one of the best candidates for replacement. Heck, even the gravity well is a little more useful because it does indirect fire. They are one of the best squads to handle the train mission or any other missions that involve defending units rather than buildings, as I said before, because a single core makes your laser able to fire straight through the objective and into Vec hiding on the other side, and since the Vec are trying to kill that objective, they tend to huddle near them. And what are good pilots? Well, Abe or Mafan is great in the charge mech because they eliminate the self-damage downside, which means that you can almost immediately spend, especially with Mafan, that first core to bring your damage up to 3. Kaz is fantastic in the science mech. He significantly boosts the squad damage output. You're then talking about a squad that does at least 2 damage with every single unit right out of the gate. And of course, Schmidt is also a good candidate in the science mech or even the laser mech because that gives you the knockback you sometimes need. The other thing is that this squad needs to be relatively fast because as they can't reposition the Vec very well, they need to be able to reposition themselves. So you should prioritize speed where you can, and maybe it also makes Camilla, Prospero, or Henry Kwan as candidates for pilots, because that gives you that extra maneuverability. Well, that's my advice for the Zenith Squad. Until next time, I'll see you around.